What is going on, everybody, from Who Got Next? I'm Andrew James. It's the show that deep dives with tomorrow's talent today. Joining me this week is a close friend of mine. He's a Fortnite professional player. He played competitive Call of Duty as well. He streams. He does a lot of other things too. It is Joshua Berserk. Or do you go by Berserk or BZRK now? Or is it
Well,
still Berserk
it's
just
still it's still Berserk.
okay? How you
Just in
doing, bro?
COD, I've been pretty good, honestly. I don't know, Fortnite's mentally draining, and I'll be quitting soon.
Oh, so
And you'll
actually,
find that out later.
yeah, let's talk about Fortnite. So Ninja revealed kind of like when he returned to Fortnite and in a really long time. It feels like he hasn't played Fortnite in seasons.
Yeah.
And he kind of goes into admitting that the battle royales like stale seasons led him to temporarily quit. Like, how do you feel as being a long time Fortnite player? Like, you've been playing since preseason one, back when it was, you had to have the like save the world to actually play the battle royale. So like you've been playing for the entire life of the game, playing it competitively. Do you kind of agree that the sentiment of battle royales, or at least specifically in Fortnite, like more and more the seasons have just been getting staler and staler?
Yeah, I agree. Like this past season, they brought back the Spaz shotgun, and the Spaz shotgun, in my opinion, it's a very good shotgun, but also it's a very bad shotgun because it's a bailout gun, and bailout guns is when you can hit someone for basically over the damage that they can have in game, which is 200. So the spaz can hit for 200 and the gold spaz can hit for 220. So if that person, if you have them 1 HP and you get in their box, they can bail out pump you and kill you, which is stupid. I think last season was the best season for shotguns because they brought the charge shotgun in, which I think everyone took for granted. I mean, you have to charge it up just so it can hit hard, and it's just not as easy to box. I mean, I guess it is easy to box fight with it, but people just took it for granted. You couldn't bail out with it unless if you had like the kits shotgun where you had to land catty corner to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like the spaz is just a bailout gun, and it's just not going to be. It's just not competitive. Like snipers too, they need to be taken out. There's so much stuff that needs to be taken out just for Fortnite to actually be fun again and actually be like and non RNG like competitive like BR. If they want to make it not RNG, they need to remove some stuff to not make it RNG.
Yeah, so like RNG, like in all of the battle royales that we have seen come into existence, right? There's dozens of them, and I feel like there's a new battle royale coming out every single week, right? But I mean,
Yeah.
back when we played H1Z1, right? It felt like there
Hmm.
was a clear defined meta. You were gonna get your Lammy or your makeshift, you were gonna get an M4 and a shotgun, and a sniper on occasion when you got it in a drop. But then you were gonna run around in cars, and like that was the meta. It was about aggressive, fast moving fights. And it feels like with games more and more, like H1Z1 was really like they had the AK, but no one really used it. It was pretty much just the M4 shotgun and sniper. And I don't think that we've seen a battle royale come out that has been in a way
With
like that consistent with the
yeah,
level, like the play style, how you're gonna play the game. So do you think like with Fortnite, because Fortnite's done fucking everything. They've done planes, they've put in so much shit every single season. Like they're super creative
I
with
just
it.
I just don't know how they keep coming up with ideas, honestly.
It's insane how many new things they keep adding to the game. Like every season has this like new never seen before concept in the game, like boogie bombs and impulses, all this stuff. Do you think that in a way that really hurt Fortnite's ability to be respected as a competitive title?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they took H1Z1's route of it being an AR, a shotgun that doesn't really one pump, like you have to be up in their face in H1Z1 to like really even I don't even think I even one pumped really. Maybe sometimes, but yeah, you got to be close up in their face and the snipers were only in drops, which made it very RNG to get. Sometimes a sniper didn't even drop in that supply drop. So I feel like if Fortnite removed snipers and put it maybe implemented it like that way in drops, like where it's like a 10% chance you fucking get a sniper,
Yeah.
like that would be great. They lower the damage that you can hit with a shotgun, and um honestly, like Bloom in Fortnite is another thing that is so stupid. Like you don't have to have good aim. If you have the best aim in Fortnite, you can still get out bloomed. Like you can have a bloom battle with someone, which is basically just 1v1 Scar versus Scar, or just AR versus AR, no building involved whatsoever. You could be hitting every single shot. Well, you think you're hitting every single shot because your crosshair is on them, but
Yeah.
the other person is hitting you more because their bloom is just better than your bloom. Bloom is just fucking, I don't know. Bloom is stupid in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I agree. I think you see this a lot in like Counter-Strike and in Valorant with the level of competitiveness is linked to direct skill, right? Like if you are
Mm-hmm.
not accurate on Valorant, you're not going to hit headshots. Now there's some occasions where you'll get like a weird flick and you'll bullet will register, but that's an anomaly in terms of the problem. You know, for me, I stopped playing Fortnite when double pumps were removed. That was kind of I played here and there seasons, but I wasn't playing every single day, grinding the battle pass to 100. Yeah, I just wasn't that into the game when that kind of got removed. And so like you see a lot of people talk about like the pump shotgun and how in season 3 when they vaulted it and then they unvaulted it in season 4, for me at least, it kind of felt, even though it wasn't double pumps, it kind of felt like a little bit of the love for the game were coming back because of how
Mm-hmm.
good the pump felt. So do you think like their decision to vault things or unvault them has a direct tie into really how the game feels? Like, if they were to bring back, season 3, season 2, the John Wick Battle Pass, the space theme, that meta and that era of Fortnite, if they were to bring back like that play style and that edition of the game, do you think it would really bring back Fortnite?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be quitting Fortnite if it was like that right now. Like I'm quitting Fortnite because like um just the meta has it changes every so often, every season, if not every season, every week because they update the game every week. And I used to play the game for the love of it, like actually grinding my battle pass to tier 100 and playing competitive, like actually having fun and playing pubs and actually having fun. And I'm just playing Fortnite for the money, and that's just not how I want to play a video game. Like how I played COD. I played COD for the fun, not for the money. To be honest, going to LAN events and stuff, that was just all fun. And
Yeah.
in Fortnite, you can't have fun because they're just changing stuff every so often, and it can make a player just like washed, like completely washed. Like I used to be so good during the World Cup and the trios FNCS meta, and um they changed it, and honestly now I'm washed. Like I've earned like I think 400 something dollars in the past like 4 months. Like it's just been bad. I've
From
been down bad.
from tournaments, you mean?
Yeah, from tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I will give credit to Fortnite with their tournaments and what they have done, right? Like you see it, they just announced today with the Chipotle Challenger Series, right? Like they have I have not seen a game like this in terms of the game and developer support for prized based tournaments, right? Like in Call of Duty, we had CMG, MLGs,
UMGs.
UMGs, like we had all of those, but those were all except for GBs, right? Because Game Battles was MLG. Except
Yeah.
for Game Battles, everything was kind of community led or independently, funded and provided. It really wasn't, except for like the CWL and major LAN events, which you have to be within what, like, okay, if there was 4 players per team, right? Like you have to be within like the top 50 players in the game to really see any money value from that, right?
You have to be just top like 80 now just to get on like a roster because they have like the substitutes
That's
now.
crazy, dude. Like for the Challenger series or like all of these money-based tournaments, do you think that a lot of people are in your situation where they're sticking with Fortnite because they are at the topper echelon of like the skill gap, and at this point it's just kind of free cash for them? Like they know if they get decent RNG, they're gonna make fucking bank by all
Oh,
of these tournaments.
oh yeah. For example, on the West Coast, the best trio right now is Epic Whale, which is on NRG, and then you have Archrome, which is on 100 Thieves, and then you have Rex, which is on 100 Thieves also. And they win every single trios event. If you ask who won the trios event for that day, you are just stupid. You should just already assume that they won because they land at the most OP place, which is Doom's Domain, and that's Pleasant Park. For what people don't know anymore, it's now called Doom's Domain because Fortnite's stupid and they add mythical POIs. And the mythical POIs, there's like a boss there at the POI that you kill, and it'll drop a vault key, and it'll drop two special like abilities. Like one shoots like energy balls out of its fist, and the other one you throw like a gigantic energy ball, and it destroys like a bunch of builds, and it does like I think 90 damage or something. And that's where they land, and they usually get it uncontested in like these big tournaments. So they're just winning every single game, and they're fragging out, like they're getting hella kills, and so it's just like they're not even playing they're not even like playing it for the fun. I guarantee it. Guarantee they're just playing it because they know they're going to get first place. It's easy money. Like that's the only reason why they're playing it. Like
Yeah.
that's the only reason why anyone is playing the game anymore is because of the prize pool. Like Crim6 just won. He's won 3 COD champs. He has 1 I think $4 million earned. Booga went to World Cup last year as a 16-year-old and won $3 million. And he's been playing
Yeah.
Fortnite for like a year and a half.
That's
Crim6
crazy.
Crim6 has been playing for like a decade, over a decade.
Yeah, think about that, dude. He's been playing for over a decade. He has 39 major championship wins. That's an estimate number. I remember the last time I had checked his Twitter bio, it said 39 championships. But he's won 39 championships, 3 world championship titles. He has an X Games gold medal. He's been one of the most infamous players in all of, Call of Duty, right? I mean, I would rival him with, Nadeshot in terms of player brand, or maybe even Clayster, right? Like these players that have been
Yeah.
around since 2007, dude. They've literally been playing Call of Duty since I was 8 years old.
And they barely have $1 million
And
earned.
yeah,
And
from
they
tournament winnings, right? Like they've
and you
made way more than that in terms of salaries and all of the deals that they make, but like tournament prize pool specifically, 10 years $1 million. That's insane.
Mhm. Yeah, that's I mean like I feel like that's way below. I mean, it's not. I don't. It's not way below minimum wage, obviously.
Yeah.
Making $1 million in 10 years, like, but still, um, if
I
you
mean
compare,
that's about 100K a year, right? I mean, give or take. So I
yeah,
mean
it's
that's
like,
a decent salary, right? But even then, right, you look at like the industry I'm in professionally, the manager of like the plant that I would work at, they're making $150,000 to a hundred, like 95 to 150, depending on how long they've been in the industry. So you're looking at a series professional that is a super common job. They're making about 100K. You're thinking you are a professional athlete in a way. And yes, I say athlete as in a gamer. Fucking roast me in the comments, okay? I believe that athletes are anybody that provides or dedicates themselves to being in a profession seriously and competes. If you compete, I consider you an athlete. Doesn't matter what you are. If you play chess professionally, you're an athlete to me. But you would think in comparison to all of these other sports, and even you look at other esports too, like as we're comparing Call of Duty and Fortnite, like the prize pool, it's almost in a bad way of Call of Duty's like, dude, Call of Duty's one of the biggest titles in terms of video games. Like
and
every
has one of the
single
most
year.
professional esports scene too.
Yeah.
Like they have a very professional. Fortnite is not professional
No.
whatsoever. It's there's no league, there's no competitive support whatsoever. I mean, they told us they would listen to us, but they haven't. So
Common
like,
trend.
and Fortnite has been a thing, like the prize pool has been a thing for like I would say 2 years now. COD has had prize pools for like 13, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's like 13 players in Fortnite in 2 years that are millionaires now. And then you got two Call of Duty players in over a decade that just reached a millionaire. Just reached a millionaire. Just off this last COD champs.
That's fucking insane. So looking at Call of Duty a little bit more, right? Like obviously you and me had kind of similar come ups in terms of like the amateur scene, right? I competed in like AW, but other than that, I kind of took the owner or like business role of doing teams and things like that, and that's where I found I was more inclined. But for you, right, you've always been a competitor. You've competed in Call of Duty. You could still compete in Call of Duty if I'm being quite honest with you, especially if it's going to
Hmm.
PC. Um, Now, like, do you think that with the CDL or whatever it's called, I think it's called the COD League now. It's not even the COD World League. It's just called the COD League. Do you think with that type of infrastructure going forward that you'll see like amateur players or players on the not, main rosters at the top rosters making an average like a living wage off of basically would you see that amateurs can make minimum wage, have a minimum wage job playing competitive games for Call of Duty?
Honestly, I think so. You just got to be, but you have to be, I would say, probably top five teams in your region to be getting salaried that minimum wage and winning prize money to go over that minimum wage, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I
Yeah.
mean, like, if you're not in that top five, you're not going to be getting paid shit, honestly.
Yeah, because it does come down to like your return of interest, right? Like your ROI in terms of if they're paying you out, right? If minimum wage is $15, you times that by 2080, that's about 30 grand a year. So if a team is paying out $30,000 in 12 months to you, which is about 2 grand a month or so, give or take, depending on taxes and other variables. But if they're giving you out 30 grand in a year, you have to be bringing in at least $30,000 worth of value. Now that's in content, in merchandise sales, and sponsor advertising, and all kinds of different opportunities and avenues that you could go to make back that money that you're paying out. Because essentially, what a professional player or a competitive player is they're a marketing value for a brand, right? Like 100
Hmm.
Thieves picks up a player because they have views. They can go and tell, CashApp and Totino's and all of their other partners, hey, we have another 30,000 views a month on all of our content because of this one player. What kind of value does that bring for the brand? And now, Cash App saying, hey, we can give you this X dollar amount because of your acquisition of more views, of more advertising space, right? Now, looking at Call of Duty with more recent news, right? We've seen that Hex has actually acquired Optic Gaming in its entirety, and that is absolutely fucking insane to me. That is, I was heartbroken. I was
Hmm.
absolutely heartbroken when I saw the fall of Optic. I've been an Optic fanboy for so long. Hex is a person that I really look up to as, an aspiring creator. That's what got me into wanting to be a team owner and so many different things that really Optic has kind of inspired me to chase this career in this path. And so seeing that he has reportedly acquired Optic Gaming in a separate deal from NRG. So Optic will have no ties with NRG. He owns
Hmm.
Optic exclusively now, which he still serves as NRG's co-CEO. And a lot of people are speculating that with this move, he'll take Optic into being what the core of Optic was of the content. He'll have, all of the boys back basically. I mean, all of them are pretty much under NRG right now, but it's just a transfer of title basically. If you're under a contract, just, hey, I'm the co-CEO, we still going to make money. I'm going to transfer all of these contracts under Optic, and now, Hitch, Maniac, Flamesword, Imbos, create all of these
The
guys that,
OGs.
yeah, the old guard, that everybody that made Optic what it is will get basically their home back. And what a lot of people are speculating, that because Hex has no intentions of leaving or parting ways with NRG, and it would be a conflict of interest for him to own Optic and NRG because they both respectively have Call of Duty League spots, that he will divest that, acquisition of the Call of Duty League spot and sell it off, same way that he did with the Optic and I want to say it was, or no, that Immortals did when they acquired Optic with the
Mm,
two Overwatch spots, that he will
hmm.
sell off the Call of Duty spot. And a lot of people are thinking that this Call of Duty spot will go to Nadeshot,
Yeah.
meaning that Nadeshot will buy into, back into Call of Duty where he got his start, and he could potentially be under the name Optic Gaming. How fucking sick would that be to have Nadeshot playing or owning the Optic Gaming franchise inside of the CDL? That would be absolutely mind blowing to me.
I honestly I want to see what that deal's gonna be like, cause honest, in my opinion, that'd be insane, and I feel like Nadeshot is gonna do it. But at the same time, wouldn't Nadeshot want the 100 Thieves branding to be in in the COD League?
Yeah, I mean, that is really. See, that's a hard one because that's what Nadeshot said, right? If you look back at his video he made when he announced that he was not going to, acquire a spot or even bid on a spot for the Call of Duty League in the inaugural year, it was because the fact that he couldn't use 100 Thieves, and that's a like super big and factor for Nadeshot. So maybe you would see that he does not use the Optic name, and Hex just keeps the Optic name and he just sells the spot to Nadeshot. But also too, the CashApp compound is located in Los Angeles. I'm not exactly
Yeah.
sure. It's in a subcity of Los Angeles. It's not in the actual, city limits of Los
Ooh,
Angeles, but
I see where
the
you're going with
the
this.
LA Optic is in Los Angeles. So because Nadeshot also said, "Hey, I don't like we're not comfortable putting our flag down and saying we are 100 Thieves, this is our spot." Because there was no guarantee that they would get Los Angeles. They could have gotten, fucking Florida. And now it's 100 Thieves Florida, and their entire company, all of their creators, all of their employees are located in Los Angeles. It doesn't make any sense. But with the LA Optic having, LA already, that's like a no-brainer play for Nadeshot, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the cat. Honestly, that'd be insane. Cash App sponsor that deal. Acquire fucking Optic Gaming spot for 100 Thieves. There's a sponsorship. Cash App is green. Optic is green. I'm just saying, it works. They're
Vibe.
both in LA. I mean, it could be the Cash App COD team, the OG Cash App COD team, for all we know. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But I
Bro,
think,
I'm gonna say that's actually some pretty dope branding. Like they just named themselves CashApp COD Team.
yeah. I mean, it works, and you can still have the OG in there,
Yeah,
like the Optic Gaming Cash App COD team, like OG Cash App COD team. Like it works.
that's
It
true.
actually works.
Oh man, like that's exciting to me. I think I don't want to say I fully understood why Nadeshot wasn't on board with the Call of Duty League. And not to say that I don't believe in the league, I just do see that I look at it as an industry bubble, right? If you're divesting, or not divesting, that's the wrong word, investing so much money into an esports scene, you think about it, Blizzard or Activision Blizzard, they are a joint company now, and Blizzard
Hmm.
famously making Overwatch. They have hundreds of millions of dollars invested within these two franchise leagues. And I don't. right now I don't see the business model. And you even look at Nadeshot said it for 100 Thieves as a brand, and they're in so many different things that 100 Thieves as a brand isn't profitable yet. They have years until they will actually be a profitable brand where they can look and go, hey, this, $100 million that we've invested, that we've had invested and we've acquired through sponsorships and, Series A, B, C, and D, all the different, alphabetical letters of funding, that at this mark we will eventually be able to say like, hey, we have money to give back to our investors and we actually are making money as a brand. So looking at that is just you're scaling that up for all of Call of Duty and all of Overwatch, right? Like I can definitely see why Nadeshot was like, hey, we really don't think that this is a smart investment. But now looking at it, right, the viewership is pretty good for Call of Duty events. It's still very like Huntsman or Optic, OG Optic, carried, right? Like a lot of people are going to be watching, the Huntsman play just because of the brands and the personalities. But also,
Mm-hmm.
too, they did a really good job of kind of bringing up other teams and getting viewership on other teams as well. And you see that with the spreading out of all of the different personalities. Now, looking at the future of like CDL or COD League, I'll eventually get that correctly. They're talking about doing this like player bubble, and this is in terms of coronavirus, right?
I
Like
heard about that.
nobody knows what the future holds, right? We've seen it with professional sports being able to have play games in stadiums and on television with no spectators.
Like NBA.
Yeah, NBA, NFL, the UFC. Do you think that a player bubble would be like the right move for Call of Duty?
I mean, in my opinion, if I was a professional player, I wouldn't like it. I've seen other professional players state their opinions saying that they don't like it, specifically Scump saying that he wouldn't like it
Yeah.
because they're saying that it could be either in Texas or in Vegas. And uh, some of these professional players have homes in the different states that they are paying for and have pets there and shit. And they don't want to be paying the extra money for someone to come house sit and take care of their animals while they're in Vegas in a bubble playing Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Like that's
right.
part of their family, right?
Yeah, when you have like an establishment of your life, right? Like I can understand a bubble working for somebody,
If they're
more
getting paid
geared.
millions of dollars,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, true. I mean, I could see it as being like you'd be on board with that if you are, a 20 something year old or even like an 18, 19-year old with no real like flag down tie saying, "Hey, this is where I'm building the rest of my life." And this is I'm a I'm a careered professional player, but the professional side of me is just my job. It's not my entire life. It's not everything that I do or I'm invested in, right? I could see where the younger base of players are like, hey, we're into this, but I definitely don't see the old guard like Scump and Formal and Clayster, Crim6, these people that have established lives being like, hey, we're okay with just uprooting, half of the year, half of our entire year to live in Las Vegas in a hotel or even in an Airbnb, right? Because it's just going to be a rental property. It's
Yeah.
not like they're going to buy a home for these players to stay in. And then what, you have to share rooms with individual people, or like you have your room and now like you're just there kind of secluded and isolated, because if you're in a bubble, right, you can't break the bubble. If you're in the bubble, you can't go out. It's not like you're in Vegas or in Texas and you can go out to restaurants or go and, live life inside of Vegas, because that's not the purpose. The purpose is you are there, you're in this room or you're in this facility, you're locked in there basically, and all you're going to do for 6 months, half the year, is forget about the rest of your life and you're just going to play video games. Like I don't see that being a reasonable
And
option.
I feel like it's gonna bring out the very non-professionalism out of these players again, like how it used to, because now they've been very professional.
Yeah.
Not that much shit talking, that there used to be, and all these COD players living together is just gonna be a shit show. And in my opinion, if the COD League does this, what I'm about to say, the COD will go to shit. If they do a bubble and they bring in some stupid ass motherfuckers that create a TV show or like, like a reality
Oh yeah.
TV drama show out of this shit, COD's gonna go to shit. They're just doing it for the views at that point and the money. Like they don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about the league at that point. I mean, like the NBA did that, they would get so much backlash, so much backlash. And I feel like if COD does that shit, COD's just gonna go down the hole. But in my opinion, if the players stand up for what they want and they don't want that shit, I guarantee you they'll listen.
Yeah, right. Like I don't see the world where Hex and Hastro tell their players that they have known for 10 years that are, more friends than they are colleagues or, paid players. Obviously that's a job, but at the end of the day they are friends and they have developed these personal relationships. That they're gonna go, hey, dude, it doesn't matter. This is your job. You got to go leave your life behind and go live in this building because I said so, right? So
I feel
now,
like even if they aren't on their team, like if Hex's some of Hex's friends aren't on Huntsman, they're on
yeah.
other teams. I guarantee he's giving them that advice, saying, If they're telling you to do it, just like stand up for yourself. Like, what's the point? Like, you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like,
Yeah,
if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. Like,
yeah,
Hex has always been that guy that is like, hey, if you're not comfortable, I'll release you. Hey, if you're not comfortable, let's negotiate. I just feel like Hex is only the him and Hastro have to be one of the most genuine, like, CEOs in all of esports.
yeah. Right.
Because,
Like even in hard situations in Hex's history, if you look at back with Vision, right, on I believe it was the Crossroads episode, or it was Seven. It was one of I think it was Crossroads actually, because it was like kind of the downer episode where they talk about Maniac retiring from Halo
yeah,
and how they go into all of this stuff of, hey, or when Hex is doing his interview, he's sitting there and going, "Look, like I get it. You guys, talking to the green wall, like I get it. You guys aren't happy that you know we're not winning. We're not winning. And you guys are saying that I'm choosing personal relationships over, winning in the business. And at the end of the day, these guys are my friends. These guys are what they are. And I'm going to give them every single opportunity to give me what I need on the business side before I say, hey,
yeah,
I got to go my own way and part ways with you, right?
yeah. That's the thing I love about Hex is that he gives his players that option.
Yeah, I
Like,
definitely think that a lot of owners, especially new owners, need to take suit after Hex and Hastro because they built this. They straight up they built what
the esports.
yeah, they have built the esports scene and what it is, and even in the drama and all of the other things that they have done, they built this to be what it is. And obviously, it's come in with millions and millions of dollars, and there's other people now getting involved. And these in a way, I kind of feel like a lot of the teams that are buying into this, if they're not owned by a historic figure in the Call of Duty scene, in my opinion, they look more like the potentially like money hungry CEO that sees this as just a good business opportunity, not for the love of the sport in a way. Because it's video games, right? It's not like you played football your entire life, or with Mark Cuban, you know, how he has this long history in basketball and, being a huge fan of it and then acquires a team, right, with the Mavs. It's not like it's not the same with Call of Duty. You don't see a CEO saying, "Hey, I played Call of Duty since, COD 2 and now I'm going to buy a team." Like if you played Call of Duty since COD 2, you're one of these people that are already invested in the scene. At least that's how I view it. So I definitely think that they need to look at it and go, "Hey, we need to take care of our players," right? Like if you look at just recently, oh, it was with the Seattle Surge. I forget what player it was that they had left or stopped playing. They're a contracted player. I believe they were a substitute. I don't even believe they were on the main roster, but they left to go be with a grandparent that was having open heart surgery. And there's reports coming out, there are allegations, so we can't say that it's for sure the case. It could be, false information and they're just kind of clout chasing, but saying that, hey, I left to go be with my relative for open heart surgery, and now I one can't get on a roster because they won't let me go play anywhere else, and they're not going to pay me because I wasn't here practicing or playing, right? Like that is the team owners
Damn,
need
I've never
to,
heard of that.
yeah, the team owners need to look up like what the people that really care and take suit after that, right? You're going to make money if you do right by people, but you have to actually have that relationship to kind of warrant that in a way. So, kind of looking at the other aspects of Call of Duty, right? Like we've seen Warzone. Have you been playing Warzone?
I have been playing so much Warzone, and let me tell you, I've been playing it with a controller because I'm a keyboard and mouse player on Fortnite.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm playing it with a controller is because this is where I'm going to bust out the big news.
Oh.
I am quitting Fortnite after Trios FNCS, so I can go play Call of Duty Cold War uh, competitively again, where I love the esports scene and I miss it very dearly. And I wish I never quit because my teammates cost me at Dallas in World War II, but whatever. Um, I'll be teaming with the one and only Jeff Gucci, Tyler
Oh.
Grimes,
No fucking way.
And Felty.
No way. Bro,
hmm
the boys are coming back?
The Coos Crew 2020 crew.
Koo's crew is coming back. So for
Minus
anybody,
minus Kixum.
oh dude, I fucking love Corey. But for anybody that has no idea who these people are or what we're even talking about, right? Like we mentioned it earlier in the show about how we both kind of had this come up in the Call of Duty scene where at one point, yo, I could drop some spicy stuff, but we'll save that for a little bit. But at one point, you actually were a player under one of the brands where Jeff was the captain. It was you, Felty
Dawson
or Dawson, and then
and
Jeff. And who else was the other player? Bo. It was
Bo.
Bo, yeah, or Bo Delicious on
hmm
Twitter. And they dropped you, bro. I'll
Uh,
never forget the day, dude. I regret it. Because you played out of your mind at that event, bro. Me, because
it was
that
just my
was,
internet held me back in World War
yeah,
II.
that was the event where me and it was under OTF, which you can actually
hmm
follow. Link will be in the description below. It's kind of coming back. More on that eventually in the future when I have actual things to talk about. But with OTF, right? Like you were one of the original players that were on that roster, and it was with two of your now announced going into Cold War teammates. And dude, I was sitting there watching you play. You were playing with a pickup squad, and you individually were frying, bro. Like you were actually really good at World War II. But I feel like the people that you were playing with at that time and their perceptions of the game just didn't align. And like not gonna lie, when we were there and I was watching you play, I'm like, dude. And then I watched the team that I had there play and I'm like, we fucked up by dropping you 100%.
Yeah, I felt like I was better than Stomsky.
Ah, dude.
At that event, I was frying the second seed. The second seed was getting fried. We lost 247 to 250 in the hard point, and then lost 6-5 in the S&D against the second seed with the pickup squad. With the like, I put with glowies, dude. That kid is dog shit. Like,
Could we just talk about the fact that we had the civil war of the open bracket between Cyclone, GG, and
oh
OTF,
yeah,
where it was
Chloe
so
versus
OTF
Jeff.
was Jeff, Stomsky, um, who was the other guy? I don't even remember his name. He was so not on the radar. And
Blaffy.
then, oh yeah, Blaffy, who was kind of like given to us as a like player, like, hey, play with this guy. He was like in the circle with
He was like in our friend group with Chloe and them.
yeah, with Cluey. Like he was in the friend group, so they just picked him up, and then so it was Blaffy, Stomp, Bo, and Jeff, and then the other roster was Corey, Cluey,
Robbie Beeman.
Robbie Beeman, and then Keiko. And
Yeah.
so these are all literally at the start of the event, dude. We're all standing there like having coffee and just bullshitting and stuff in the event before we're about to go check in. Like we are all friends outside of the game. And then we come in round one, winners round two in open bracket. We're playing each other. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? This is like, we were hyped. We were like, hell yeah, we get to play. This is going to be super exciting. It's going to be fun. And so we ended up as OTF, right? We ended up coming back in the best of three. We won on Arden's Forest CTF. We ended up winning like 5-3. It was clutch. Bo had like 4 3-pieces. He returned the flag. It was insane. It was super hype. Everybody was super hype. And then round two, we're playing fucking FaZe Clan, which at that time was Attach, Zuma, James, or enable, no, not replays, sorry,
Yeah.
and then Priesta. It was
Yeah.
like,
It was
okay,
a
round,
god squad.
yeah, round two. They ended up going on and winning the rest of the open bracket, right, and made it into pool play, and they ended up placing first or second in that entire event. We played
I
them
think that I
winners.
think they played second.
Yeah, we played winners round 3 was them. And it's like, what the fuck? Okay, well, like that's like obviously if your intention's to win a tournament, you're gonna go and play and try to beat every single team. But it was just like, okay, dude, really? Like that's who we gotta play winners round 3? We just beat like our fucking best friends and it was a really close match. And by the way, we were on paper not supposed to win that match. So it was
No,
like
definitely not.
it was this
Like,
super crazy like upset moment. And even we had talked about it after that. The org owner for Cyclone had DM'd Cooley like, how the fuck did you guys lose to this like no-name team, right? Because OTF had like 30 followers on Twitter. It still has 30 followers. Go follow it. But like Cyclone was at like 3K followers. They're like this super known team in terms of like,
verified on Twitter.
yeah, verified on Twitter. This, and this, nobody basically comes and beats you. And they were getting paid. They were fully funded for that event. So the owner was like, dude, what the fuck? How'd you guys lose to them? And so we go in to play FaZe. Obviously, we lost to FaZe. And like we were super heartbroken over that loss, but we didn't play bad. We just were simply outclassed at that time. Like
I
the
mean, they're
roster just,
professional players.
yeah, it's just you can't compare people that have been playing for the inception of Call of Duty being competitive to players that are trying to make the come up. So we lose and then we get basically iced for the rest of the day. We don't play.
Because of
Morning,
the bombing shit.
yeah, there was that. Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
halfway, like literally, we were supposed to play that night, but they had in Dallas at the venue, they had a bomb threat. It ended up being a false alarm hoax prank on the event, but somebody did, and that was like super crazy. Like
We sat outside for like 3-4 hours,
dude,
bro.
it was bad. I remember
Just walking around.
me and Mark had walked up and we went to the McDonald's that was right up the street. And like there was literally this big ass McDonald's and every single table was a different team, all in their jerseys, like bullshitting and, just kind of trying to be out of the cold because it was in December and it was like
Yeah.
20 degrees in Dallas or in
Shit was
DFW.
freezing cold.
Yeah,
It was freezing cold.
it was awful. So then, but also at that event, like they had cheer going on, they had a volleyball tournament that was going on. Like there was so many other things, not just the Call of Duty event that was affected by the bomb threat. And so we ended up getting iced by that, and we ended up having to play the next morning at like 8 a.m. So we go home, we have dinner because remember that restaurant that was right in the neighborhood of the Airbnb?
Mm-hmm.
We go over there, we got food, we came back to the
That place was
Airbnb.
fire.
Dude, those French fries were so fucking
Oh,
good.
the truffle fries.
Oh yeah, bro.
Those
That
shits
was
were gas.
fire. So
Yeah, I miss that place.
I kind of want to go back, no cap. But
Yeah, same.
we come back to the house, right? And we're all sitting there and then we check the bracket, we find out we're playing at 8 a.m. So we're like, fuck, we gotta go to bed and try to get some sleep so we could be up at like 6:45, 7 o'clock to get in an Uber and get over to the event, get checked in, get all set up. So we get to the event and then we find out the team that we're playing in the morning. It just said to be determined. There was a team that had to play a round that had to play before us. So then when we got there, we found out that the team we were playing in losers round 4 It was 3 or 4 because remember how the bracket goes. If you had a
Yeah.
bye, you kind of jumped rounds based off of
Yeah.
seeding. So I think it was losers round 4. The team we were playing was Supremacy, which was the number 1 seed coming out of Europe. And it's like
Yeah.
it was simply bracket, unfortunate events
It was a
because
bracket fuck.
yeah, because we played FaZe, who ended up placing second, and then we played Supremacy, who
Placed fourth,
also
actually, by the way.
yeah, they also made it out of open bracket, and those were our 2 rounds that we played. So it's like almost in a way like we didn't get DFR'd, but it felt that way because we the next 2 rounds we just got straight demolished by professional teams. And what's so crazy is we talked about this like high sight 2020 looking at the like the bracket and how it played out. Cyclone ended up going on to run like 8 rounds deep in losers bracket because the teams that they were playing were just absolute dog shit.
Ass.
They
Yeah,
they
they're ass.
sucked. And so Cyclone being this roster that shouldn't have been in the situation, like Robbie Beeman was so fucking good at that game. He hard carried that roster, no cap.
Oh,
But
and Supremacy, by the way, after they beat you guys, they went on to lose the
oh,
next round.
really?
They
I didn't
placed
know that.
65th through 80th.
Jeez. Well, my knowledge is bad, but Cyclone, right? Like they played all of these super trash teams and they ended up placing like top 48, got pro points, and their org owner was like super happy and ended up funding them for the next event as well. And so it's like, dude, if we would have just thrown the match against, like, it would have hurt the egos and like the pride of losing to them because how their personalities, they would have shit talked the entire rest of the event. Like, they'd still shit talk it to this day. So it's kind of cool to have like that over them, but also it's like, fuck, if we would have lost to them, we would have played just straight shitter squads and made it all the way T8, right? And that roster, if we would have made T48, made pro points, I guarantee you the roster of at least Jeff, Bo, and Stomp didn't break up. 100%. If that roster would have placed in the T48, they wouldn't have broken up, and I would have funded them for NOLA, which was like a month later. But because of how the situations played out, and then the roster decided that they didn't want to play together, and it's just like, okay, it all fell apart because of how the events went. But if we would have thrown that match, or not even thrown, because you don't want to throw a match that's one against the rules and it's bad sportsmanship. But if we would have lost that map or that match, then we would have basically not have broken up. And OTF could still be a, competitive roster to this day, right? So now looking at the future, right? Because that's actually super exciting that you're going to come back into Call of Duty, bro. I'm actually really hyped about that. What are your kind of like expectations and plans going forward?
With COD,
Yeah, with COD.
it hopefully just dominate the amateur scene. If all goes well, I mean, either we split up and get on pro teams as subs or main spots, or we just get a whole roster dropped for us. Who knows? You never know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in the AM League last year, like the EU one, I was on Team War for like DreamHack Anaheim for Fortnite,
Okay.
and they had one of the best amateur COD teams for EU. They won the COD champ, the amateur COD champs or whatever the fuck it is called.
Yeah.
Team War did, and they won like I think like 8 championships in a row, and none of them got picked up to a single pro roster spot, which in my opinion is like kind of stupid. Like they're insane players, and
That's crazy.
some of those players are better than some of the players on pro rosters.
Yeah,
And
but
I
that's the Call of Duty friend league, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the Call of Duty friend league. Everyone has to be on the front on a team with their friends, or they'll have to be in the same pro scene as friends. They don't want anyone else new coming into it. They all get grandfathered in. It's kind of stupid. I mean it's basically the same thing with every esport. Everyone gets grandfathered in
Yeah.
to the next major event or whatever for being professional, but yeah, I guess the only number one thing to get into the pro league is to become friends with them or someone in the pro scene. So, I mean, I got Kismet.
Oh no. Yeah,
But
so I look at that, right? It was kind of addressed by Hex with the announcement from Mental leaving Gears of War to go into Call of Duty, and
uh,
everybody's like, "Oh, it's the friend league. He's gonna get on a roster just because he's who he is." And first of all, I want to say that maybe he may get more opportunities based on his merit and who he is, but at the end of the day, the dude is also a 30-time champion. This dude has fucking been
in
considered
gear
the
in Gears
best.
though,
But you got to think, right?
he has not touched COD.
Look at Hook. Didn't
Yeah,
didn't
but
win didn't win anything. Went into Halo, got onto a pro roster, and then became one of the prolific professional players in Halo. And then comes back under the same merit of being just ridiculously talented. You can look at Frosty as well. These players, I don't fully, like, obviously I acknowledge and I admit that the friend league is a problem, but I also look at it as a business standpoint of your past history merits something. You being a competitive Fortnite professional player, you've been contracted, you've been salaried, you've played at major events, that is going to merit you going forward regardless of how those events well went, because you are proving that you can play under the professional environment and under the pressure of being on a stage having eyes on you. So I don't think that him just being a I one don't think that he should get a starting roster spot until he has proven that he is good enough for it. But I also don't. I can agree with and see where his previous history of being a multiple time FPS titled, Oh wait, Gears is an FPS.
it's a
So
third person shooter.
yeah, so that doesn't even tie in. So that point's null and void. But I still think the sentiment of him being a competitive console player champion and having that foundation of skill, I think that will translate into Call of Duty. I think there will be a learning curve for him. But I also like I could see him getting a sub spot and playing in the professional circle, but I don't see him getting if he just gets given a you know
A starting
professional
spot.
starting spot and then doesn't perform and still remains that starting spot, then you can go, hey, this is fucking the Call of Duty friend league. This is, more of the same bullshit that we've been seeing for years. But if he gets given the opportunity based on his merit and then shows up and performs well at an event, I don't see any problem with him being on a starting roster.
Yeah, as long as his team doesn't carry him. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different factors, but I don't know. I just don't
I
I
just feel
don't
bad for Mental because if he gets on a starting spot, he's going to get criticized so goddamn much.
yeah, any mistake that he makes is going to be under the microscope, which sucks because it's just so much added pressure. And Hex talked about it. He says, "Do you feel more pressure with the fact that everybody kind of doesn't I wouldn't say everybody, but the fan base of Call of Duty don't think that you merit a starting roster and even a chance at playing in the pro league? Do you feel like more pressure?" And he goes, kind of like yes and no. Like he feels pressure to perform, but not pressure to perform just because he's being given a chance or because he's coming into play. Like his pressure comes from the fact that he wants to win and that's his goal. And that's kind of where it starts for him. So, I mean, looking at it as a holistic problem, the friend league is a problem. Number
Hmm.
one, you've seen it in Halo, you've seen it in so many other sports, but also I don't think that players transitioning from other esports should be just written off because of the opinion of somebody that's a spectator that just doesn't think that the skill or anything transpires. Because at the end of the day, if your opinion mattered on the fact if he should be on a pro roster or not, it's because you're on that pro roster and he's going to be your teammate and you're also a professional player,
Yeah,
right?
which I think a lot of the COD pros don't want him to be on the main starting roster. Like they literally have no idea how he's going to perform. Like they
Yeah.
have like he just came from a third person shooter. He's never touched COD. I mean, like it just doesn't seem like things are going to go right with him. But also at the same time, What's that other Gears player that proved that he can play COD?
Um,
Or is that a Halo player?
I want to say it was Halo. If you're referring to Shotzi,
Yeah,
who,
Shotzi.
yeah, he like that's like the counter spectrum of what the potential is, right? Like there's it's a lot closer of game between Halo and Call of Duty. They do have their differences, but the how you play and the core foundation of being good at the FPS title are very similar. So like the dude was a world champion Halo player. And then he comes in his first rookie season of, obviously he's not a rookie, but in his rookie season of Call of Duty wins a world
Yeah.
championship. Like you can't, and he's on that roster with Hook, who famously went into Halo, was super fucking good at Halo, and then came back and now in his first full year back as a COD pro wins a world title. Like you can't look at, that's why I say you can't look at somebody coming from another title and go, this person just deserves to be written off because they don't know anything, or because of,
Well,
like they're coming from a different game, they're not going to be good, because you never know, right? Like, but I do see the argument of mental coming from a third person shooter to a first person shooter will definitely be a harder battle for him to prove himself and to transition his skill base and what he's naturally good at into Call of Duty.
yeah, it's just because, like, I mean, like, you're coming from a third person shooter. No one in the Gears scene has successfully. I mean, you can't quote me on it, but I guarantee you, no one from Gears has successfully came over and became a pro COD player.
Yeah.
It's mostly been Halo players, like Formal and shit, that have came from Halo and they came into COD and they just dominate the scene.
Yeah.
Like Hugh, Shotzi, Formal, like they
Enable.
enable, yeah, like that. Like look at, like, they're all fucking from Halo.
Yeah.
There's there's not one person in the COD scene right now that's professional that came from Gears.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to love to fact check that, but I definitely could see the world where, like, I see two worlds. I see he gets a, because he does have such a big brand, he is valuable to any organization as a content person. I could see him getting a sub spot while he cultivates his skill and his talent, right? Because if Call of Duty is this, multi-million dollar league, it's going to be around for years to come. So acquiring him is an investment. If you
Mhm.
acquire mental, you are one, investing in the fact that he's mental. He played for Optic Gaming. He is a multi-time, champion in Gears of War. He has a fan base. He has a good personality. He's entertaining. You picking him up isn't a bad business move, but putting him in with no, kind of warrant for the skill. Because you look at League of Legends, right? League of Legends brings in new players all the time. They promote their
Mhm.
academy players all the time, but that's because they go, hey, we haven't liked the performance of this player. We put this person into scrims. We like their performance over our, main starting veteran player. We're going to put this person in place for this reason. And then you see them come in and maybe they have, a great performance or they have a bad performance. But the team is saying, we believe and we have put this person into practice against other pro teams, and they have shown to us as the people that are putting together this team, because their opinion and what they believe it requires to have success is all that matters. The fans, let's be honest, don't know anything about anything. It's all just kind of, Reddit detectives saying like, "Oh, this person's good or this person's bad because they watched a stream of them playing games." And it's like you can't
Yeah.
compare the professional environment to what somebody is doing in, eights lobbies. Like it just doesn't compare, the coordination, all the different things. But I do see the world where somebody acquires mental and they are a, an investment, and they give him a year or 2 years, whatever it takes for him to kind of develop in the professional scene, and then you see him start playing in a roster. And if I was mental, I'd be like, fuck it, yeah. You're gonna put me on a roster that I'm gonna get the exposure. I'm gonna start building the brand in Call of Duty. I'm gonna get to play with pros and practice and do scrims on occasion. But I'm also gonna be salaried. I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about anything other than getting better at my craft and dedicating all my time to Call of Duty. Why wouldn't you, want to do that, right?
Mhm.
So now, kind of going back into Warzone with the horrible, horrible hacking situation.
Well,
Have
didn't they just ban 20,000 people?
Yeah, so they announced today that they had just banned another 20,000 people, and the devs can confirm that they have banned an entirety of 200,000 players from playing in Warzone due to cheating. And with
Damn.
that was a popular Twitch streamer, Wagnificent. He got caught in the wave. Like he got caught in the wave of cheating. What is your opinion on like this sentiment of cheating? Obviously, if you fucking cheat in a video game, you're a piece of shit and you
Yeah.
shouldn't play the game. But I feel like this is really one of the first instances that I can remember of a prominent like Twitch streamer getting caught in like cheating and banned. Like what do you
Well,
think of that?
I can give you an example in Fortnite.
That would be
So,
with Jarvis, right?
not even Jarvis, this kid named K-Quid.
Okay.
Okay, he's an OCE player. He played Fortnite professionally. I believe he went to World Cup, but his aim was insane. Okay, and everyone did not know why this guy's aim was insane. But one day he randomly got banned. He randomly got banned. There's no Epic statement. He said that Epic was going to come out with this statement like a couple months ago. A couple months have gone by and nothing has happened. But from what we know right now is that this kid is playing on an alt account, winning contender cash cups. So he's getting free money while he's banned still, by the way, for soft aiming. And soft aiming is an undetectable, pretty much aimbot
Hmm.
in Fortnite. And um, my opinion in like Warzone on these people that are cheating is that they're complete scumbags and they should be banned for life. And I don't know this big streamer that you're talking about. The only person I really watch in Warzone is Symphony.
Okay.
Um, uh, but yeah, I don't know who the guy is, but he's a scumbag and he should not be allowed back into the scene. Even if he creates some big statement, there's no way COD or Activision like fucked this up by banning this big streamer for hacking when he's probably going to come out and say that he wasn't hacking or whatever. I don't know. Has he came out with a statement yet?
So all that I have seen, and I don't gauge his content on how big he is, right? Like he's got 5,000 followers on Twitter right now. I don't know how many viewers he pulls, but he did come out with the source from Deserto talking about the bans and everything, saying that he came out to say from Activision Assist said, I got falsely banned on Warzone. Account name is Wagnificent. I'm deeply confused by this. I'm a streamer um, with the likes of thousands of viewers daily. What they have said on Deserto, and I agree with the sentiment full hand, it doesn't matter if you pull thousands of viewers. It doesn't eliminate the possibility that you are using cheats. So I don't want to say that everything is confirmed or saying that he 100% was cheating. It could be fully possible that he did falsely get put into the system. But if you got falsely put into a system or using an undetected thing, or an undetected cheat like you're talking about within Fortnite, because that's what's kind of being pointed at here, is that the engine owning's product, which is the product being used to determine people getting banned. It's the same thing that is used in other battle royales. To say that it's falsely banning you and you have thousands of viewers, first of all, if it's undetected, there's no way that a viewer or somebody watching your broadcast will be able to spot it. That they're just going to
Um,
think that you're playing.
the only
So,
thing that they can the only thing they can see is if they go to their desktop and they expose themselves on accident. That's the only way. If they see the file, because there's a file you have to have for the cheats. If you get caught up with that, you're fucked.
Yeah. I
And
mean, and looking at these tweets, it shows that some of them were deleted, and it kind of, to me, this comes across as a look at it going, I'm gonna try to PR myself out of this and try to, save my reputation and my brand, right? Because if you're a streamer, obviously, like, you're trying to make this your career, but you get caught in a scandal, and there's plenty of things that happen to people where it's like they get falsely accused of something, and then it spreads like wildfire on social media, and a bunch of people talk about it, and then it comes out that it was false. But now your brand, no matter what, especially on Twitch, because of how people are, they're gonna come. It's like the Ligma situation with Ninja, bro. I was watching Ninja the other day play
mm,
Among Us, and people are still saying Ligma in his chat. It's like
yeah,
whatever happens to you, especially if it's in a public situation, it's going to follow you, right? So even if this guy comes out and says that or it's proven that he was not hacking and it was a false accused thing, everybody's going to come out and go, "Oh, nice walls," or, "Oh, nice aimbot," and, in his chat. Like, that's just, it's going to follow him
It's a
forever,
terrible proposition.
mhm.
Like, that's just how it's going to be. I love Deserto putting in ads on their website. But so looking at like Warzone or just in Call of Duty in the future, right? I'm super excited about Warzone, or the iteration of what Warzone could be going into Cold War. The Battle Royale title. I honestly would like them to see them take Warzone, the actual name, and just port it into the new game. Obviously, with the different devs, they're going to want to put their own product out there, but I think it would be good for branding purposes, or, kind of making it like zombies, right? Like zombies is
Well,
zombies.
I think Warzone is going to stick around. I think they're going to each COD, and they're going to be letting the developers like basically put together the map based
Oh,
off of that COD.
see,
That's
that's what I would like to see happen, right? Like that would be
yeah.
really cool. But so looking at Cold War, right? If you're going to be competing and, all of the other things, but kind of looking at the game itself, right? We've both been playing Call of Duty for years now. I've been playing Call of Duty since I was a literal child. And,
Mhm.
now as a young adult, kind of, you can look back on Call of Duties. I look back at Black Ops 2 all the time. It's not rose-colored glasses. Roast me in the comments. I don't care. Black Ops 2, best Call of Duty to ever come out. You can't argue the point with me. It's, my mind's already set. Period.
MW2 for
Best
me.
best competitive, best zombies. Just everything about it was so good for me. So looking now that, MW2 for you, right? We have two kind of differences of view.
Well, I have different opinions
Mhm.
of like so like MW2 for me was one of my most favorite games to play like public matches like
Okay.
because I used to trick shot, I used to just pub stomp and shit. But my favorite competitive game probably Advanced Warfare, and then my favorite zombies
Jetpacker.
game is probably actually my favorite competitive game probably BO3 because I was very good in that game.
Yeah.
But to watch probably Advanced Warfare. Um, and then my favorite zombies game had to be Black Ops, like fucking Ascension, Moon. Oh my god,
Okay.
those are the zombie maps that I fuck with. Like,
I like that. I like that you have like you have categories to put every title into. I would definitely say for me, the esports watching side of Call of Duty would definitely be Call of Duty Ghosts to AW. That era of Call of Duty or competitive Call of Duty was super entertaining.
yeah,
Ghost was I watched literally every event, every team play in Ghost all year long. I would go because that's when they had the events. You could click it on the MLG app in game, and then you
hmm
could watch it. So like I would get all the homies, the IRLs that I'm playing, the clan versus clan or competitive clan versus clan playlist with after middle school, and we would all get on and watch Optic play and everything. So
the
looking
one
at,
thing I can agree with you though, sorry to cut you
go
off, is
ahead.
BO2 overall is the best game. Fucking pubs, competitive, the trick shotting scene, everything about BO2 is insane.
Yeah, definitely. So looking at the future, right? Like we have this fond memories of all the different aspects of the games that we've thoroughly enjoyed for different reasons. For Cold War, Cold War, what has to work? Like, what has to be in this game for you to really enjoy it on a competitive level and on a casual level?
There needs to be 3 lanes.
3 lanes. I love it. That's so underrated in terms of competitive. And for competitive, for me, it's spawns. If spawns are
Yeah.
trash, I want a solid AR, I want a solid sub, and I want a solid sniper for search. Those are the only three. I don't care if there's more than 3 guns in the game. If there is a solid AR, a solid sub, and
The
a
the
solid
AW
snipe.
meta. The bow, the ASM1.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what I want. I want a clear defined, you have 1 to 2 battles, you have 1 to 2 ASMRs, or 1 to 2 ARs, 1 to 2 sub players, or maybe 2 subs, a flex that plays an AR or a sub depending on the map size or whatever, and then an anchor styled AR. That's what I really want to see. And this is looking at Black Ops 2. Why I say this is Advanced Warfare was obviously we didn't have Hardpoint and Ghost, so you can't compare it. But Advanced Warfare Hardpoint was very flood, 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 flood. Black Ops 2 Hardpoint was anchor, play the map, and play it correctly. For me,
Hmm.
this comes into RNG and the factor that plays in with RNG in video games. Call of Duty needs solid spawns because that eliminates the RNG and the randomization of games. You need, for a game to be a competitive title, you need consistency. If you have consistency, that allows you to master a playstyle. And now the best team is not just who is, better with a gun, but they are better at playing the map. If you look at teams in the historic past, and you look at Black Ops 2, right? Freako Impact, like they were a good roster, right? But up until Freako Impact became Freako Impact, they were all essentially nobodies. Like they were known in the scene, but they weren't prolific players. And so when Freako Impact came in, they had a clear defined playstyle and they played the game and the playstyle better than everybody else. So even if you can, argue that player to player skill based ratios, right? If you compare Karma, Complexity, who was one of the most dominant Black Ops 2 rosters, and in Freako Impact, that was a dominant Black Ops 2 roster for a section or a portion of the game. You compare those two rosters on paper, you have individually better players on Complexity, but Complexity was losing to Freako Impact. And that is because Freako Impact played the game better. They played the play style, they played the map better. So for Cold War, they need spawns and a play style of the maps. 3 lanes, spawns that you can manipulate and control by playing the map a certain way. And to me, that'll bring in a certain level of competitiveness that we haven't seen in Call of Duty in so long. Because even Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 4, sorry, was all about flooding, right? There was a play style, but you could play the anchor spawn style, or you can play just 5-man flood the hill. 5-man flood the hill and you'll be fine. Like you can win games by just flooding the hill consistently on a rotation if that's the way you choose, which I don't think is a big problem, but I don't know. I think for me and how I like to see the game played, I want a play style that is like unique. So 3 lane maps. What else? 3 lane maps and solid, set of guns. What else for Cold War for you on like the casual side? What's gonna make you really enjoy this game?
Um, Honestly, me really going to enjoy Cold War is going to be me playing with my old friends and playing it for the fun and also playing it to get better as a team and
Yeah.
the different shit we can do in that game. We can play pubs, we can play GBs, CMGs, whatever UMGs, and we can play Warzone and zombies. Like we can do all that as like a team. Like it's gonna bring back old memories. It's gonna be fun. I'm not gonna be playing the game for the money anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing the game for the fun and to get the recognition too. Like
Dude, I feel like that's something with the wave of Fortnite that really got lost. Being good at something because you want the recognition and you want to be known as the best or one of the best at something. A lot of people kind of go into gaming or streaming or content creation because they want to make it a job. So hearing that, dude, like I fucking love that. Number one. Number two, I definitely think that style of game is necessary. A game that you could hop in with your homies. Like you got to have a game that you can play all day. Pubs need to be fun. Like Warzone or whatever the battle royale variant needs to be balanced and fun. But then you look at like Ground War, these massive maps with vehicles and huge
Mhm.
points and everything. Like there's so many different things that need to happen for this game to really be good, but also with so many different, things that you can do, it really gives you the opportunity to, like you can't fail if you have good aspects in so many different genres, right? Like if you have a decent battle royale, you're going to attract every battle royale fan. If you have decent competitive, you're going to attract the competitive fan. If ground war and other pub lobbies are fun, then you're going to attract everybody. From what I've seen from like the alpha, or I want to say, I think it was the alpha that happened a couple weekends ago, sniping looks insane. Can we talk about
Oh
that,
yes.
dude? Sniping looks so good.
That's something Felty's gonna like, 'cause you can never put down a sniper.
Facts.
Um, I mean, it looks great. It looks like MW2 BO2 sniping. I mean, like you can black scope. I mean, the sniping looks insane. It looks accurate as fuck. It I don't know. It when I watched the sniping on there from the alpha on PS4, like it just brought back memories of like actually having fun sniping in pubs like
Dude,
back in the day.
yeah, Black Ops 2 was for me, I want to say MW2, MW2, MW3, and I'll say why MW3 after I explain the other two games. But MW2, MW3, Black Ops 2 were the most fun sniping that I had ever had. Now, I say MW3, which is controversial, but there's a very, very specific reason why MW3 had such a big impact on me as a Call of Duty. Number one, the age demographic I was in that game. I was in the like teen to preteen era of Call of Duty where video games was all I thought about, all I cared about. I mean, it's still that way, let's be honest. I'm 21 years old and that's all I still think about. But just that development stage in terms of falling in love with a game was MW3 for me. And the reason for that was the face off 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 playlist. Simple as that. Pubs were not that great, but that face off mode, I spent hours, thousands
Oh
of
yeah.
hours 1v1ing and 2v2ing with my, boys and stuff on MW3. Snipers, are you kidding me?
That was that was so much fun, and the maps that were in it too. Like the maps are only designated for like that game mode.
Yeah. Like, you telling me I can sniper 1v1 every
Yeah, like that.
single game, every single match that I play as a sniper 1v1 to 30? Dude, it was, I have not seen anything like that. Like, you saw a little bit with gunfight, but you can't choose your gun in gunfight. So like you get a shitty rotations of guns in gunfight and it's not as fun. But if you're getting all, deagles and, snipers in gunfight, it's like this is so much fucking fun. I love this. So like that was kind of captured in Modern Warfare, but there hasn't been anything like that in any Call of Duty since that has made me like, holy shit. Like I'm not even gonna cap. If Cold War has a 1v1 playlist, it's already the best Call of Duty to date. Period. You can't
Yeah,
you can't argue, at least in my book, I can't argue any other way. Like obviously I can look at the nostalgia and what I love about other Call of Duties and that'll always hold a special place in my heart. But like if I get to 1v1 again, dude, I'm there. Are you kidding me? I could go and grind out 1v1s again. That's it's unmatched to me.
yeah,
So also looking at like the zombies side of it because obviously the zombie storyline is super fun to play. Have you played any of the like newer style zombies of Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4? Have you played
Black Ops
any of those?
3 is I played Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles on my PC, but that doesn't really have the Black Ops 3 movement in it. But when Black Ops 3 came out, I'd never played zombies because I hated it because of like I don't know, it's just like weird. Didn't feel
Yeah.
like zombies.
So
But
with Zombies 2, they have announced that Black Ops Cold War Zombies will support crossplay in Call of Duty first. So
mhm.
to me, I don't know if that means that they're gonna do crossplay in zombies first and public matches later, but the idea that crossplay is now going to be brought into zombies, and maybe this is referring to the first zombies that will be crossplay, but oh man, like, what is your opinion on crossplay in general?
Well, in my opinion, like in general, for like I guess like the casual scene, it's really good. Like other IRL friends have different platforms that they play COD on and stuff, and they really can't play with each other. And maybe they're forced to buy a console to play with their friends, and
Yeah.
now they can go back to their preferred console or PC, if they will, and they can play with each other. I mean, in competitive, it's gonna be like Fortnite. Okay, like Fortnite, they made it crossplay at first, okay? So it was like console and PC. And then they eventually gave in Fortnite, they gave the console community their own prize pool, which is the stupidest shit ever. Like
Wow.
they're playing on a $200 console and they can win a 20 grand FNCS. And guess what? They're still not going to buy a PC because guess what? They're winning free cash on a $200 console.
Yeah, I mean that because you look right, if you look at a computer player to really be at the like there could be a unique case where you have a player breakthrough that's not on the premier rig, but like if you want to be playing and cranking your 90s and box fighting at the highest level possible, right? There's a certain aspect of like, okay, you need to be getting a certain amount of frames because if you're not getting a certain level
You
of
need at least
frames,
144 plus.
yeah, like if you're not getting that, the quality of life for that game is just absolutely horrible. Like your reaction time, how you perceive the game, things are going to be so much worse. And it's not anything to do with you personally as a player, it's everything to do with the hardware that you're using, right? You could have an insane console, or I mean, you could have an insane reaction time, but because your computer is so far under standard for what it needs to be for competitive, like you're held back by your restrictions of everything. I mean, I don't disagree. Like I don't agree with, but I also don't disagree with their move of separating console and PC. Like I think it's a shitty thing to do if you're a computer player, but I also see the argument of separating them and giving their own prize pool based on the fact that PC players complain about aim assist, right? And it's not an invalid argument. It's 100% bullshit. Like if you're playing on a computer with no aim assist and this dude's just spamming LT and automatically locking onto your head, like that's bullshit. Like that shouldn't be. You guys shouldn't be playing together. So I mean, I guess I see both sides of it. You
But
know?
at the same time, on the other side, on the console side, they're looking at keyboard and mouse players. They can flick, they can build quickly, they can scroll wheel reset, which is a huge thing that keyboard and mouse players have.
Yeah.
Like you can scroll your mouse wheel and it resets your build. On controller, you have to click multiple buttons to do that. But also, and on the PC side, they wanted to keep the console players in our prize pool because console players are at a big disadvantage. They're putting shadows on. They have 60 FPS. They have a controller. They can't move as quick, and it's just like the delay to like with the console and the controller on Fortnite is kind of some hot magunda. Um, and, and so it's just like easier for a PC player to take out these like Like during World Cup, oh, everyone loved the console players because they would give them free points. Like, and now everyone hates console because they got their own prize pool. They don't deserve if anything, they deserve a prize pool that costs the same amount of money as their fucking console. They shouldn't be getting $20,000 for playing on a console. I'm sorry, that's just it's when it's a PC based esport,
Yeah.
like it you shouldn't have the same prize pool as uh PC. It just shouldn't be a thing. Like
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like
we had a
the
mobile player win $75,000 on EU doing solo FNCS. Like we had a fucking kid on his fucking iPad Pro won $75,000. Like
oh, think about the investment you made in your child's life buying them an iPad Pro. Everybody's telling you it's a bad decision. You shouldn't buy your child that and spoil them, and then they win $75,000 on a video game.
yeah, dude. After that, kids started like controller players on PC. They bought iPad Pros and they went and started cashing out on iPad because they're using a controller on iPad. They're literally cashing out. They were playing on Asia servers, dominating the Asia scene, literally just shitting on everything. It was insane. Like, in my opinion, it's a cheater. It's like it's literally cheating. Like
Yeah.
mobile, their aim assist is fucking ridiculous. It's so stupid. That's one thing that I don't agree with. But mobile is not really a thing in Fortnite now because the whole Apple and Epic Games
Oh,
lawsuit
that's true. Now,
going on.
what do you think about that, right? Because there's a lot of speculation that Epic Games basically doing what they did was trying to basically get themselves off of the Apple market because if they're under a contract, they can't do certain things. Obviously, if they're under a contract, they're set in time where they have to be on the Apple playlist or the Apple Store for so long, and they have a set amount of money that they can make, or a certain percentage has to go over to Apple for being on the store. And I've seen speculation that this move by Epic Games is in an attempt to become a publisher versus just being, because obviously you can have a game that you create on the Unreal Engine, and obviously, which is what Epic Games is known
Yeah.
for creating, and you can create a video game on the Unreal Engine and then put it on the store, and if it sells, then Epic Games takes 20% of the revenue for using their engine. So you seen Red Dead Redemption came over onto um, the Epic Store, and
Yeah.
it's kind of perceived that this move by Epic is in an attempt to get out of the Apple Store and make the attempt to change the industry and what is required of developers and then enter that market themselves in acquiring games and putting them on their own store and so forth. There's a big lawsuit and everything that they talk about. So I kind of want to talk more about Fortnite because it's super interesting to me. Obviously, a game at one point I loved and now is like the X I don't ever want to bring up in a conversation. But
Yep.
do you see that there's ever a world? Now, this could be for you, or just obviously with your plans going into Cold War, you're kind of saying, you know what, it's time, I move on, I'm done, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Is there a world where you see Fortnite or Epic does something that looks at you could look at Fortnite and go, I'm going back?
Um, they bring back the World Cup prize pool and the same meta that the World Cup had last year, I would 100% come back because that's when I loved the game. I really wasn't playing it for the money. I mean, I mean, I kind of was. I mean, everyone kind of was. The prize pool was insane. It was $100 million. I mean, like
Yeah,
it
that's
was free
insane.
cash. It's free cash. You place top 500, you got $100. Like you place top 500 on your region on NA West, you got $100.
That's
Like you
insane.
could be the most dog shit player and place top 500 and get $100 for free. It was just free money. That's why everyone was playing World Cup.
Yeah.
But the meta was good. The meta was actually good. I actually liked the meta. That's the only way I would come back. Maybe like in December they'll probably come back with like another Winter Royale like what they had last year. Like Winter Royale was like free cash too. It's like you place top 250, you got like $250. Like it was kind of easy. Like won like $1,500 in that. Like that was if I had a better duo partner, I could have easily won over 5 grand. Like it it's just like I don't know. It all comes down to if Epic starts listening to their competitive scene. The thing is that they have a competitive director, and then they have like their little public match directors too that they listen to the pub kids.
Yeah.
They need to officially separate both. Like they need to have competitive and pubs. Listen to the pub players, have their little pub shit in pubs. Listen to the competitive players on what they want, and remove the shit they want and add the shit they want in. Like
It seems so simple, right? Like,
it seems so simple. I mean, H1Z1 did it at first, and then they got bought out, and then they stopped listening because obviously the original owners had no say in what they were doing anymore. And Fortnite obviously still has a say because it's the same owners. They made billions of dollars because the game just randomly blew up. Like no one bought them out.
yeah.
So like they could easily listen, and they said that they would listen, but they never listened.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
Fortnite in itself was kind of like a calculated decision because if you look, a lot of people made the comparison of how the healing and shielding worked in Fortnite and compared that to PUBG. Obviously, the sequence of how games came out is you had H1Z1, that was a battle royale. King of the Kill was a added, it kind of all started with Minecraft Hunger Games, or the Hunger Games title, I guess, with the idea that you spawn in, you have to find everything, and last person standing wins. That's kind of where Battle Royales came from. Minecraft brought in Minecraft Hunger Games. Then from there, this Battle Royale wave started. H1Z1, which was originally a Just Survive zombie style game, where
one
you're
of the best BR
Dude,
games.
I
Like,
love Just Survive. I'm not gonna lie, I shed a tear when they closed down the servers. I was still playing Just Survive to this day. I would still be playing Just Survive to this day if it was on servers still. So you look at it, King of the Kill was a, Hunger Games, re-envision on Just Survive. And then King of the Kill, one of the original developers of H1Z1, left the studio. His name was Player Unknown. That was his in-game handle. That was his alias within the gaming scene. And he left because he wasn't happy with H1Z1, the direction and what they were doing. He wasn't happy with his job. He left and started Player Unknown Battleground, or PUBG. Player Unknown
yeah,
Battleground. That's what PUBG comes from. No, people don't know.
yeah,
People don't call it Player Unknown's Battleground, but that's where it started. Player Unknown
yeah.
was originally H1Z1, left, started PUBG, and he did that on the Unreal Engine. So
And look at his game; it's still alive. His
yeah,
game is still alive.
PUBG is still kicking, and it has its own meta, its own fan base, and it's actually pretty successful too. Like it was so different from every other game that it has a unique, niche demographic of people that want super hyper realistic battle royale gameplay.
And it has a respectable mobile esports scene too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of the biggest esports scene, or one of the biggest esports in mobile
Mhm.
esports
Yeah,
is PUBG,
definitely.
and it's mainly Indians though. Like
Yeah, I mean, you would see, dude, that's crazy. You'd think that the entire like scene is kind of originated or, centered and based within India, and that's really where it's like popped off and become like the premier esport essentially in India. And the Indian government is attempting to ban the game,
yeah,
right? Like they just want to get rid of the game. Now, for I don't know anything about that. All I know is that I know that they want to get rid of it. I don't know why, or the if
probably it's
it's
just too violent.
yeah, the reasoning behind it, justified or unjustified. I'm not going to get into any of that. But looking back at kind of where Fortnite comes from, right? PUBG was very, very similar, or Fortnite in its very first season, like how the healing and shielding and everything worked, med kits, all of that is very similar to how PUBG was with med kits and how you have to heal and all of that stuff. And they're made on the same exact engine, right? So you look at it and go, okay, Fortnite kind of was this like calculated thing where they looked at all of these other battle royales and said, "Hey, we have our own engine. We can just port what PUBG is because technically we own kind of what it was, and we can add building from Just Survive, like or Save the World, not Just Survive. Just Survive's H1Z1, but literally think of that, dude.
Yeah.
H1Z1, King of the Kill, started as a kind of post-apocalyptic zombie game.
Mhm.
Fortnite started as Just Survive, which was a post-apocalyptic zombie game. Like,
Yeah.
how do people not realize how close they are? People think Fortnite and just think like, oh, Fortnite was the godfather of battle royale. And it's like, no,
No,
Fortnite was
H1Z1,
the
in my opinion, was the godfather of
yeah.
battle royale.
Were you ever a part of any of the H1Z1 lobbies that had the like uh music narrator that would stand on the middle of the helicopter and play like the cha-cha slide or like how the entire lobby's like slide to the left, slide.
Nah, I was
Ah,
not.
dude.
I played that game competitively too, with dramas.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just now we're not friends anymore, but
Oh, spicy. We'll we'll skip past that.
yeah, I don't even want to talk about that shit,
Oh
honestly.
yeah, where this isn't drama alert, but um, thinking a little bit more right on like what she said about Fortnite and what it would be to come back. So you talked about like the meta is what really mattered for you. Me not having a single clue about what the meta was like. What is your ideal Fortnite meta?
My ideal Fortnite meta would be to have the just a regular pump shotgun, just the gray, green, blue versions.
Blue
Um,
pump, nice.
yeah, and take out the spazzes because those are bailout pumps. I mean, you can still bail out with the blue pump, but it only hits for 180, so that's not max damage.
Yeah,
But it was a good gun. And then also like there now in this meta, there's these things called Stark rifles. Like they're the Iron Man rifles. They shoot laser beams. There's 15 bullets in a clip, but it's literal like it's like a beam or not a beam. It's like a ball of whatever the fuck.
energy.
Yeah, that shoots out of it, and it's so goddamn OP. It does like 76 to the head or 79 to the head, and half that damage to the body. Um, so like 40 something damage,
Yeah,
like 45, whatever. Or not even 45. That it'd be like
it'd be in like the
30s
high mid
something.
30s.
Yeah, yeah. But um, I would just want a gun. I want the guns balanced again, like the Scar, the AR, that shit. I want that balanced. I want the gray, green, and blue pumps again. I want the snipers completely taken out or be super rare in a supply drop. No more RPGs. Like in this season, there's no RPGs at all. It's really nice. No mythical items, which is like the Doom's Domain thing that I was talking about earlier. How the number one NAS team, they land there at the Doom's Domain. They get the energy ball and they just win every single game.
Yeah,
Like um, just none of that like gay shit. Like in COD, it's a gentleman's agreement to not use stupid ass shit. Like
yeah,
they need that in Fortnite, but they don't need a gentleman's agreement. They need Epic Games competitive directors to not be a bunch of dumbasses and listen to their community.
yeah,
Like the pros put together this thing called the FNPAA or some shit. It's the Fortnite Pro Association, whatever the fuck I don't even know. They're supposed to talk with Epic Games and get the whole scene thing whatever fixed. This was announced I think like last year or yeah, it was announced last year. They came out with a statement like a couple months ago saying that they're going to do it again, but not shit has been done.
yeah,
And it's because the people that have started the FNPAA, which are pro players in the Fortnite scene, are multimillionaires in this game, and if not multimillionaires, are about to be millionaires, and Epic doesn't want them speaking badly to them about what they need to change. Instead, they're keeping the pro players quiet, and they're just like the pro players don't really care because they're winning so much fucking money in this game still that they don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not about the competitive integrity of the game anymore. It's the money for them, right?
yeah, it's the money, and in any esports scene, like it's gonna come back to bite them in the ass. The only person that's gonna go far in Fortnite ever is gonna be Epic Whale, because after World Cup, he created his own company, which is a mousepad company. It's called the Mousepad Company, and he he made so much money off that business already, and everyone else that has been to World Cup didn't hasn't done shit
Yeah,
with
they're not
it.
diversifying with the money.
They're not streaming. They're not like, I mean, like Clicks is like the only one nowadays that really streams, like that went to World Cup and pulls a decent amount of viewers, and actually if you switch to a different game, people would still probably watch them. Like a decent amount of people still watch them. But like all these people, they're not thinking ahead of the future of what's going to happen. Like, I'm sorry, Fortnite's going to be dead in 2 years. It's not going to be a thing unless if they keep bringing back $100 million prize pool every fucking year or 2 years. The game will die.
Yeah, I mean, if you even look at that prize pool, right? They did $100 million, and they said this in their announcement that the $100 million was just a split. They made $200 million off of Fortnite skins. In
Hmm.
however many seasons, I think it was like season 3 or 4, that they
Yeah.
announced the Pro League or the World Cup and their $100 million prize pool, and they literally said we made $200 million. We're taking half of what we made, and we're going to give it back to the community in competitive tournaments. So you got to think, right? They are not going to have $100 million next year because they did not make $200 million this year. Now, obviously, I don't know that for a fact.
They
They could
made
be.
more
They made more. You're telling me they made more than $200 million this year?
because look at it, okay? They made $200 million in like 3 to 4 seasons, okay, off the OG seasons.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't invested a single dime after that into competitive, right? So they've gone season 5 through season 10 of chapter 1, so that's 5 seasons, okay? And then they got into chapter 2, and we're in the 4th season. So we're going into 9 seasons without them dropping a dime into competitive. Well, they dropped a little bit of money, like just a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I'd say probably $1 million in total throughout those 9 unanswered seasons of them putting money into the prize pool or whatever
And you got to
for the
think,
aspect.
actually, that's kind of like I'm thinking about it now a little bit more. There's no way that they didn't make that much money, right?
They've made
Because
more. They've made $1 billion since then. I guarantee over billions. I guarantee it.
I mean, you got to think too, right? If they're doing these massive activations with Marvel and, the NFL, there's no way, right? There's no way that they're
Yeah, they don't.
not making an insane amount of money. But so kind of back on the point of where that topic of how much money they make and why it's important, you would say that Fortnite is only around as long as the money and the prize pooling is there.
Yep. If the prize pool, if they did not say that World Cup was going to be coming next year, the game would have died already.
Yeah.
If because if there's no World Cup, there's no Fortnite. If there's no prize pools at all in Fortnite, there's going to be like a little pub player base that the little kids are playing
Yeah,
like
there's no
online.
there's no Fortnite in the professional competitive sense.
But yeah, but like most the players nowadays are playing these tournaments because like they're playing it for the money. I mean,
Yeah.
if they started it from the beginning and they played it for the fun and the money just came along with it because like you saw yourself progressively getting better each week during duo and solo World Cup because you're winning money. Like you started winning like no money to start winning money and winning more money and winning more money, and then World Cup was ended. You didn't qualify. You got to play the FNCS, which was more free money, like in Trio FNCS of Season 10, Chapter 1. All you had to do is place a top 100 in trios, and you got $100. And if you place top 50, you got like 250. And just for like I made grand finals of trios last year, and just for making grand finals, you got $800 each, just for making grand finals. And if you got top 15, I'm pretty sure it was 1600 each. It doubled up the prize.
Yeah,
Like,
that's insane, dude.
and that's when people were playing it for fun because you progressively were getting better because the prize pool was so big and there's so many slots of like actually being able to get prize money. The more you placed, like you realize that you're getting better, progressively getting better, more money was rolling in, and then after that, people were just like money, 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 money. They didn't even care about fucking getting like better. They just cared about the money, and they would switch teammates like every day, and just play for the money. Like, oh, this team looks good on paper. Let's try it out. Oh, didn't work. Okay, new team. Like what? Like
Yeah.
that's not how esports should be ran. Like
So
you have to
looking,
build chem to fucking win more money.
yeah, like that's actually really interesting. So for you as a player that has gone from being essentially a no-named amateur to being a, contracted salaried Fortnite player and playing in finals and doing all of these different things, for you, this is more, I would say, advice for future professional players or even just kind of anybody that's in the scene now that is kind of in this middle to lower, or even at the top echelon that's trying to make the push into professional play. What would you say, or like what tips or pointers would you give for the run of the mill player who doesn't have like competitive experience or being in a team or managing relationships? If you have a blow up and fight with teammates or whatever, what kind of advice would you give to a player that is trying to make that push and is just getting into it? Like, what should they know that you have learned over the scene? Like, what could you give them that puts them at a level of being a good teammate and actually giving yourself a good chance to become a professional player?
Okay, well, first of all, you gotta play for the fun. You can't play for the money. The money will come. Uh, practice. You gotta practice, practice, practice. No matter what, you just practice, practice, practice. Don't have a dog shit mindset. When you have a bad mindset, that is when things just go bad for your team.
Yeah,
Like if you start complaining and bitching, that's when your teammates' vibes go down, and that's when your team starts getting absolutely destroyed. After one event, if one person costs your event, go over the mistakes. Don't just drop the person. That's team chemistry right there that can help you win the next event.
yeah,
Like you have to play for the fun. You just can't play for the money. It's just the like it also like I started off playing with my IRL friends, and then I then once realized like playing with IRL friends or just playing with friends in general wasn't really the move. And if you're scared of like dropping your friends as teammates because they're not at your level and you see yourself progressively getting better, it's not a friendship thing. It's a business decision move at the end of the yeah, it's a business decision move at the end of the day. Like they shouldn't hate you for it at all. Like at the end of the day, you want to get better. You want to see the money come rolling in because you're having so much fun, and you just want to have fun with people that have the same mindset and the same mentality and everything as you.
yeah,
And that's how when I played with Jeff and them, I honestly was playing it for the fun, and we were playing wagers like all day long, and money started just rolling in. And then I started playing for the fun with some of my friends and uh Fortnite, and money's just started rolling in. And then I started playing with better players, and then more money started rolling in, like bigger money.
yeah,
And it's just like a cycle that you just have to. If you're just starting off, you got to play for the fun and you got to practice. And when you see yourself getting better and your teammates are not getting better, you just got to be like, guys, business decision, a friendship decision. Like we'd still be friends. I just want to look for a different team. Blah 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 blah. That's things that people don't really like nowadays. People like if you get dropped by a friend, it's like a whole ego fucking shit. Like oh you're so dog shit. That's why I'm dropping you. Just dog shit. It's like okay you just burned a bridge and you just lost a friend and like you're gonna be down bad after that. Like your ego is growing to the point that no one's gonna want to play with you.
yeah,
And Everyone will eventually find that out once you try out with so many teams, and they realize that your ego is what's fucking making you this dog shit player. Because like you could be a good ass player, but you have an insane ego, and you fucking are bringing your teammates down. And you're saying all this stupid ass shit. Like you're gonna get dropped. It just doesn't matter if you're the best player on the team. You're gonna get dropped. So have a good mindset. Practice. Play for the fun of it. Don't play for the money. The money will come in. Trust me. I mean, you can fucking go watch Hex and Scump and all these people. They'll literally tell you the exact same thing. I started off playing Fortnite for the fun, started playing it for the money. The money stopped coming in because I started playing it for the money and not for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I would say for on the topic of, friends and teammates, this is an age-old saying in the competitive scene. It's you don't make your friends your teammates, you make your teammates your friends. And
Yeah.
that, as looking at it in my experience and what I have seen as an owner of teams and a manager, as a coach, as all the different hats that I've put on in the competitive esports scene, those were tit for tat the exact things that I saw kill a team, right? And it's not about your friendship. If you're serious about making this your job or you want to really be a professional player, one, you do have to have the love of the game, because at the end of the day, if you don't love something, then you're at the end of the day, whatever is drawing you to it at that particular time, as soon as that variable is removed from the equation, like you could look at it as a meta. If you are in love with the meta of a game, and as soon as that meta's gone, now you're no longer in love with that game, right? If you look at esports in that same light of going, I love esports and I love competing for the competitive nature, for all of that, and the money is just something that comes along with the territory. It's not, I love the money and the money is what motivates me to be a good player or motivates me to continue playing, because as soon as you take that money out of the equation and you lose a tournament or something, now your entire world is upside down, because you what made you into this thing is no longer there. And
Yeah, like
so
I have like an example of like like making your teammates your friends.
let me hear it.
Like okay, how I met Jeff, for example. My team, like I had the biggest ego in BO3 because I was a little ass kid. I was 16, 17 years old, and I was fucking shitting on kids. Like I was shitting on pro players too. Like
Love it.
I could have gone pro in that game. Not
If you weren't
flexing.
if you weren't under
That
the age gap.
yeah, if I wasn't under the age gap, like multiple people have told me I could have gone pro in that game, but fucking uh my ego is insane. I 250 to 0 Jeff's team at the time, and I was calling them dog shit. I eventually I eventually dropped my ego because I watched a podcast that Hex came out with, and he said something. I forget the saying, but at the end of the day I dropped my ego because I was like, you know what, maybe these kids are good, I'm gonna try them out. And that's the mentality that I've had ever since, like especially with Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like but I tried out Jeff and Dawson and Corey. Like that's a team that I fucking 250 to 0'd on Breach Hardpoint in
Coos
BO3.
crew.
Yep. Literally destroyed them, and I ended up teaming with them, and they became some of my bestest friends and some of my bestest teammates I've ever had.
That's
And
true.
like in Fortnite too, I played with some of the kids that have like no earnings, and I played, and they were like some of the most mechanical players ever. They just couldn't win any money because they were brain dead. They would do they're stupid pushes. They needed someone there to guide them,
Yeah.
to like make them smarter. Well, these players that had $0 earned that I played with now have tens of thousands of dollars earned, because guess what? I'm going to give them my fucking brain and knowledge in this game so they can do better than me, and they can make this a career for them, because I know for myself, I cannot be I cannot be that mechanical because they're younger, they're more cracked out. I'm fucking old as shit. I can't be flicking my mouse like that and doing all these edits and shit like that
Yeah.
anymore. Like I gave them that knowledge, and now they're winning tens of thousands of dollars. Like I played with this kid Dex. Kid straight brain dead. Straight brain dead. One of the most brain dead players. He wanted to push everything. I turned him into the smart player. This fool had like $750 earned when I first played him. Now has over $10,000 earned.
Jeez.
And
That's insane, dude.
it hasn't even been a year.
I mean, if you think about it, right? Yeah, it's kind of the way esports needs to trend. I am fully on board with checking your ego at the door. Okay? You look at me, right?
Mm.
And this is another example. Like, you can take the competitive side, but this is just another life example of checking your ego at the door. Okay, I am a professional quality assurance lab tech in my job. That's my day job. Okay, content
Mhm.
streaming, making this podcast, and all my other stuff. That is, my pastime. What I hope to become my career in the future. And when I started in this position, I come in with this I could have come in with this mindset of I'm the shit, I know what I know and all of that, right? I could have come in with an ego essentially, but I came in with somebody who had been there just a little bit longer than me and knows just a little bit more than me, and I came in with this mindset of, you know what? You know more than me. I am going to give you unrivaled respect. When you talk, I'm going to listen to whatever you have to say. And this is even goes for people that come in and I train. If I know more than you, I'm still going to give you the respect and the time of day to listen to what you have to say, because the way you look at something is different than the way I look at something.
And it could
I
help
could
you in the
know
long run too.
exactly. I could know more than you holistically, but this one particular thing that you see or you point out could teach me something that I don't know. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's kind of a life topic or a life advice, but you can apply that into literally anything that you want to do, whether that's you want to make TikToks, you want to make clothes, you want to start your own company, you want to be a professional gamer, streamer, YouTuber, you want to do podcasts, you want to be on TV, movies. It does not matter. If you don't have the humble respect when somebody is talking, to listen, to educate where somebody doesn't know, to not have this ego of, oh, just because you're green and you don't know anything, kind of like, fuck you, I'm not going to tell you anything, or I'm not going to give you my knowledge. That is the absolute wrong approach to how you should conduct yourself. If you come into things and if you come into a team, right, we'll bring it back into gaming, but if you come into a team or into a game and you don't have the mindset of, this person may know more than me or may know less than me, but I'm going to listen and respect what they say, because our goals are intertwined. If we both want to be pro players, no matter what, we should be pushing each other to be the best. We shouldn't be toxic teammates. We should give constructive criticism. Hey, you choked a 1v1. Instead of going, you're in S&D and you choke 1v1. Instead of being like, oh, like you should do this or do this, do this, do this. Let them fucking play. If they make the wrong play, go, hey, you should have done this. Now that's in scrims. If it's in a tournament, that's a little bit different because there's different things online. But if you're looking at how to become a better player, how to practice better, how to play better, you need to have this mindset of, it doesn't matter if I'm outslaying you, if I'm getting more hill time than you, if I'm getting streaks, if I'm making the plays that are winning us the map, I still need you as my teammate. And you still need me as a teammate. We're joined in this together. We need to be pushing together to make each other better, right?
Mhm.
So, with all of that said, right, we're almost breaching 2 hours here. This is by far one of the most fun podcasts I have done in so, so long, because it's literally sitting here talking with one of my best friends. So, with that going forward, obviously, you still are playing Fortnite right now, but your goals and aspirations are to leave Fortnite, go into your first love of competitive Call of Duty for Cold War. Where can these people find you at? Where can they support you at? Let the people know how to find you.
BZRK 301 on all social medias.
You hear
Literally
it there.
everything.
literally everything. BZRK, don't even worry, you don't have to look it up. I'm going to do all of the hard work for you. Links to everything will be in the description down below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast, BZRK301. BZRK, the numbers 301. You can find this man on all social medias. Be sure to support him, follow him, roast him about his bowl cut, do all the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Josh, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I've absolutely loved this podcast. And yeah, for anybody else
I
that's
love this too. I
watching,
could talk for hours. I could talk for more hours.
alrighty, that is going to do it here for this episode. A little bit different from Who's Got Next traditional shows, a little bit more centered around the podcast, but we did cover history, we covered current events. That is going to do it here. I'm your host, Andrew James. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow the podcast. You can listen on all social media platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Also, subscribe and watch on YouTube. That is going to do it. We will, guys, see you next week for another episode.